All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here, and I'm bringing you my solo thoughts, my review, spoiler review for the new film, Telugu film, also shot simultaneously in Hindi, Radhe Shyam. And this is a film that stars Prabhas, the superstar of one of the first, if not the very first Indian film that I watched. I now forget Bahubali 1 and 2. And he also was in Saho, which was the first trailer reaction that Jody and I gave here on Born Reviews from Indian films. So Prabhas is a lot of first for me personally. And as I get into my thoughts on the film, nothing that's going to change about Prabhas. He has a great presence in this film. As always, he's an above average actor, and he really becomes the role of Aditya and does a fantastic job actually in this role. For what he was given, he does a very, very strong job. But this is a film set in 1978, and it takes place in Europe. I don't know if any of it takes place in India, to tell you the truth. They mention India here and there, but he's a globetrotter, and it takes place mostly in Italy. This was a film that was supposed to come out last year but got postponed, and it was filmed realistically in Hyderabad, Turin in Italy, and Georgia. Georgia, well, the United States. Not that Georgia. But this is a film that I'm assuming that there's a lot of CGI. There's got to be, if not, amazing lighting, right? But this is a film that follows our main character, Aditya, who is a world-renowned palmist. He reads palms, and he reads it with 100% accuracy, trained by his master/mentor, who also reads 100% accuracy. And he has this new book coming out, his mentor does, the person that trained him, that says 99% science as far as palmist. And he doesn't agree with that. He's wondering why 99%? It's 100%. I don't agree with that. I can't write a forward for your book. I can't really endorse this book because I believe in 100% accuracy because that's what I know. And he's kind of a playboy. You know, he has different girlfriends here and there, but he's completely honest with them. He tells them, I'm not going to fall in love. This is not going to be that type of thing. I want a flirtation. But he wants a relationship like lovers would have, but he doesn't want the long-term commitment for different reasons that we don't find out later on. And so he's going around doing his thing, and there's a really great opening number there that shows different places he's going to, different women that he's with. And one woman says, I love you, Aditya, I love you. And he's like, he pulls the car over and says, that's it. I'm sorry. I really respect you. I've had a lot of fun, but I can't be in love. Bye. And he literally walks away. Hopefully that's her car that he's just driving around. He must have missed that part. He leaves a very, very nice car behind. But this guy goes around, and eventually he meets our lead character played by actress Pooja Hegde, and she plays the character Parena. And she's a doctor. Her uncle is a head of this hospital in Italy, and she is dedicated her life to helping people. And he falls for her instantly, and she plays hard to get. And there's a whole love story in this film. Now, again, this is going to be a spoiler review, so make sure you've seen the film or you don't mind being told about the film as I move forward in this review. If you watch my instant thoughts reaction, then you know my overall feel of the film. This is a good film-ish. It's not a great film, and it's not a bad film. I have not listened or read any of the reviews, but I know they're negative. At least the ones that I've come across seem to be negative. And that's unfortunate because I don't think this is a bad film whatsoever. I don't think this is a waste of a film. There's a lot of ambition with this film. This film is directed by Radhe Kumar. This is the first of his films that I am aware of that I've seen. And I know he's got a huge fan following. He also wrote the film. The whole thing about this movie is Aditya is just head over heels for Parena. Head over heels for her. And he's acting like a lovesick puppy, and she just is not interested at first, and then she becomes a little bit interested, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. And it's not on the same level as the Pushpa relationship, but it's definitely hard to get, and he's just going all out for her. Then he finally gets her, and they kind of commit to each other, and he tells her, listen, I just want to have a relationship with you. I don't want anything long-term. It's not going to be marriage. It's not going to be love. I'm not going to fall in love. And one of the main reasons he was really, really willing to go after her, so to speak, and to try to court her is he was told by her people that she's never going to fall in love and she has no interest in love, and he was excited about that. Okay? So as it goes on, we see, and these are the best parts of the movie for me, when he's reading someone's palm and that thing comes true. The scene with the train where all the hands are going in his face, and he obviously catches a glimpse of him, and he's thinking about as he's walking away because he didn't want to be bombarded by all these people. He's obviously been there, done that. And then he realizes their lifeline stops suddenly. And he realizes, and it's really interesting because he just gets full of emotion. He goes after, he tries to single-handedly stop the train, which those kind of scenes just kind of lost on me. The whole, like, because this is a science fiction supernatural film to a certain degree, but it's also, a lot of it's grounded somewhat in reality, even though it's still a film. But some of the action sequences where he's trying to chase it down, or he's on the skateboard and the skateboard's going through the car, that stuff was just, it wasn't the bestly done. That is a correct phrase. It wasn't done the best way. And it didn't look real. It came off really, really fake, unfortunately. And it takes you out of the movie. But he gets so committed to trying to help these people. And I'm thinking to myself, he's a believer of you. Your life is already predetermined. Everything's already been decided, and you're just carrying it out one way or another. And he still tries to stop that train. It was a nice, powerful scene, along with all the other palm readings where he's reading the palm of the super rich, I think in the movie, the character is the richest man in India. And he reads the palm of all the people in the morgue that the doctor who doesn't believe him thinks he's a charlatan and whatnot. And he reads all those palms. Those scenes were really, really cool. And that's where you had a lot of good ideas in this film. You had, let's start with the positives. Okay, I'm kind of all over the place. Let me get centered here. Here's the things that I really liked about it. I mentioned it a little bit in my reaction. The visuals are breathtaking. You watch this film, and in the first 5 minutes, you're like, wow, oh, wow, that's a nice shot. Oh, look at the background. Look at the reflection. Like when he's hanging off with the scar, he's sitting there hanging with her, and you have, not only is everything just in 8K, it seems like. I mean, 16K. It's like absolutely gorgeous. But there's a cool shot where you see his reflection on the water, which you're not going to convince me that was not CGI. But it was done so nicely where it looked really, really real. Those kind of shots were very believable. Everything about this, every location, I mean, it was pristine. Every detail behind where they're at, the clothes they're wearing were, I mean, it was so clean to the point where you're like, okay, this is kind of taking me out of it a little bit because this guy hasn't even like worn this shirt for more than 3 seconds, for crying out loud. It was one of the most visually captivating films I've seen. Definitely probably the most visually captivating film, Indian film I've ever seen. It was that good. And that alone is worth the price of admission. The production team did a fantastic job with that. Prabhas is fantastic. Pooja Hegde is fantastic. Most of the side characters, the guy that played her uncle, Sachin Kadekar, was fantastic. He really, he kind of annoyed me at first, which is what the character's trying to do, but the actor really brought it in, and I was a big fan of his by the end of this film. The music was really, really good. The video songs in the movie, they were very strong. They were very upbeat. I'm sure if you if you understand the Telugu language, the words resonate even more powerfully. I just had the subtitles right there. There's lots of scenes that I really liked, and there's lots of scenes that really take you out of it. For me, like I said in my reaction, the first 45 minutes, I was pretty bored. I was not invested. I wasn't going to leave, but I was thinking to myself, if I was a person that left in the middle of a movie, this might be the movie that I would leave in the very beginning because I just was not really interested in what was going on. And then you finally get to dive deeper. When he's in the hospital and he's talking about how he pretends to die for 2 minutes, that's when things started to go and started to pick up a whole lot. It was their chemistry, it was their relationship that really was so strong. And thank goodness, because if it wasn't, this movie would have completely fallen flat. For me, it didn't fall completely flat. The scene where she's reading his book, it's not a diary, his book, and she's finding out as we find out more about what he's going through and why he's not willing to love. I was not smart enough to pick up on that until the very, very end before they revealed it. The fact that his lifeline is going to end on November 26th and he's not going to move on, so there's no point of falling in love, having a family and kids. When he was reading her palm and he was saying, you're going to marry a guy, you guys are going to have twin girls, they're going to look like you. I'm like, well, don't you see yourself right there? Now, obviously, he didn't believe it. But those scenes were very, very nice. Again, everything was just so beautiful to look at. Every shot was something like, man, I wish I was that artistic, and I wish I had that kind of vision. And that's really where the directors shine. The negatives, there's too much, unfortunately. The pacing is weird. At some parts, it's top notch. You know, from minute 41 to minute like 90 or so, pacing's very, very good there. Direction is good enough right there. Outside of that, the bookend times, the direction's all over the place. The editing. There was a sequence where I think the director was trying to build suspense and trying to build dread. But when his mom's done with the dance and he's talking to his best friend to take care of his mom and he's walking down basically the end of his life, there's these quick cuts, quick edits. It was badly done. It takes you out of the movie because it's the kind of edits that I do, for crying out loud, on my iPhone. It wasn't good editing, and I think it was going for like the heart pumping type situation, but it just did not work. You don't see in the rest of the movie, and that's the kind of direction that you have in big portions of this movie that just aren't very well done. Part of the editing that's not very well done. A lot of choppiness, a lot of things that seem like, well, I thought we were going to finish that little scene right there. Okay, guys, we're done with it. Or where'd this come from? We're kind of in the middle of it. A lot of that was very, very off. Some of the acting was hard to believe at times. Like I mentioned, the action sequences, when he's skateboarding to get away, the whole sequence where he's running away from the richest man in India's cronies, okay? Because he wants to be a politician. He says, sorry, it's not in your future. It's not going to happen. That whole running away, he's throwing fruit at them, and you have 10 or 12 guys. If they're true, like, henchmen, they're going to have some kind of weapons. He's throwing, like, eggplants, and he's throwing bread, and he's taking stuff from these people's market. I thought he was going to throw them some money or something like that, or go back and pay him, but no, he just runs away, gets on the skateboard, then a few other guys get on skate. I mean, it was... Those weren't the best choices. Too many times as you're settled in this movie, it takes you out of the movie and you find yourself looking at your watch, saying, how much more time do we have left in this? A lot of it is good, and I will say it's definitely worth the price of admission if you're interested, if you're curious, if you really want to watch this movie. You're not going to be completely regretting. It's going to be worth your money, ticket price. But it's just not a great movie. It's not one that I'm going to remember. It's not one that I'm going to have in a top 10 or a top 20 Indian films that I've seen in my lifetime. It's just not. And it's unfortunate. There's other scenes that are choppy as well and this or that. But for me, the main thing, I didn't like the way this movie started, and I really didn't like the way it ended. Because here's the thing, and this might be like one of those Inception conversations where people that are true fans of this film, they can argue about it. And please get in the comment section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening to me this long. If you've been listening this long, appreciate that. But the ending was weird for me, okay? Because you have this whole idea that you can't change fate. That's his belief. His masters tell him there's 1% of people that are the leaders in our world. They can change their future. And I'm fine with that. I had no problem with the fact that he doesn't die and he's able to avoid that fate that's his. That's fine. The thing that I did not understand story-wise, plot-wise, and please help me out. Maybe I'm just slow. Maybe I missed something in translation. I don't know. But one thing I didn't understand is why she felt when they said, oh, we got a cure for your tumor. We're going to save you, because she was destined to live a very long life, but she had a really bad, incurable tumor, and she had only days or weeks to live. So the doctor said, I'm surprised she's living right now. And he's like, no, she's going to live a long time. She's going to live 100 years, I'm telling you. And so you have all of that. They say we have the surgery, but she's so sad, and I get that he's not going to be around, that he's going to die, that he believes he has no future. I get her being upset about that. But her way of resolving that is just to get herself killed. To ride a car. I thought she was going to jump off that cliff. I was like, please don't jump off that cliff. And maybe that's what her intention was, and then the car came. But that's probably what it was. Takes her hands off the wheel, and this big old truck just T-bones her, flips. That was a pretty cool scene. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty believable. The car turning around. One part where her head bangs through the glass, but you don't see any cuts or any shards. They could have done that on the editing part. And her head sticking out, and then the car smashes. I thought her neck was gonna break. That didn't happen either. So I mean, there's some good and bad about that scene. But why did she feel she had to kill herself? Why did she feel that unless she thought me dying and forcing him to come over here to save me, his presence to save me, would mean that he's not going to die his natural way, and maybe she was wrong about that. But why did she? Because if you watch the movie, we know he dies in the water somehow, and that's why he's in the water, because he's trying to get on a boat to get back to her because of a bad storm, and then the tsunami happens. It's just, I didn't understand it. And then the whole scene, like I thought, okay, this movie's got 10 minutes left. And then it just dragged on and dragged on and dragged on, and they really could have cut that down. It turned into like the whole Titanic scene, like with him being where Leo's at and going down. And then he hits his head really hard on that big metal bin underwater, and he's somehow able to get out of that. And then a huge tsunami wave comes. He's walking into the hospital. It was so over the top. It takes you out. It makes you uninterested. Made me uninterested in the film, and it wasn't my favorite way to end. I'm glad that they were happy. I'm glad they got married. I'm glad that he admitted on the phone call, and that was a great scene. I love you. I love you. Please fight for me. Live for me. That was a great scene with the telephone and everything. But some of it was just weird. Okay, it's a good film-ish. It's not great. It's not bad. But those are some of my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are if you've seen this. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what your reactions are. Let me know if you agree with anything I said. Let me know what I left out. All that kind of stuff. Please comment below. I look forward to interacting with you in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what else I need to be checking out as far as what's coming out in the future that you're really excited for. And with all that being said, until next time, adios. Alright, so I just ended the video and I'm working on some editing things, and I realized I did not give this film a grade. So my grade for Radhe Shyam, I'm going to give it a C+. Okay, a C+, because there are, overall, I did not regret going to see the movie at all. I did not. I enjoyed it for the most part. A lot of issues, but I enjoyed it the most part. Not the best I'm going to see, not going to be my top 10, but not a bad film either. And C+ is the best I can do. Here we go. Boring Reviews!